Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're looking into the journey of BuildHr, specifically through Yogita's 16 years with BuildHr. 16 years, quite a stretch.
It really is. From a solo beginning right up to a private limited company.
Exactly. And the idea here is to sort of unpack how it grew, the principles behind it. Useful stuff, I think, for anyone building anything, really.
Definitely. Insights into entrepreneurship, HR evolution. It's all in there.
So let's jump right in. The source mentions Yogita starting as an HR retainer back in the early 90s. That wasn't typical then, was it?
No, not at all.
Oh.
Most HR was, internal departments or maybe one-off consulting gigs.
Right.
This idea of ongoing strategic HR support, like a retainer, that was, well, pretty forward-thinking. It suggested HR wasn't just reactive, but a continuous partnership.
And started small, right?
Yeah.
BuildHr at yogital.com in 97. Just an email address, basically.
Yeah, no big launch party, just getting started.
And the source details some pretty intense early challenges. Cycling across town, long trips out to Ranipet, Tirupati. That's commitment.
Oh, yeah. That really paints a picture. Dairy Farm Road to St. Thomas Mount on a cycle.
Wow. It wasn't just the work travel either, was it? Balancing family, mentions Isha, even health issues with Dr. Umaram.
It underscores that intense personal investment. Building something from scratch often demands everything.
And Vakasya was created around the same time.
Seems so.
Yeah.
Suggests maybe seeing different needs, different angles in the market early on.
Okay, so beyond the sheer effort, mentorship seems key. The source lists quite a few names: Dr. Vidya, Srinivasan, Pendurajan, Suresh Karl.
Raghunath Narayan and Shreya.
Yeah. What kind of impact did they have, do you think?
Well, it sounds like they each brought something specific. Like Raghu was crucial for process mastery, performance management systems.
Okay.
And Alan mentioned alongside HR policies, getting those fundamentals really solid.
Right, building the toolkit.
Exactly. And Shreya seems connected to shaping that retainer model, the strategic side of HR. So a mix of operational excellence and strategic thinking.
It's like assembling the right council.
Kind of, yeah. Different perspectives, different strengths.
Then there's this story about an early win. Delivering job descriptions.
Yeah, and apparently they were better than what some big global players were offering at the time.
That's quite something for an early-stage venture. How does that happen?
Well, I guess it comes down to really understanding the client's specific context, not just using generic templates.
Deep diving into the actual roles.
Probably.
Yeah.
Meticulous attention to detail combined with that deep understanding. It's a huge validator early on. A real confidence boost.
Definitely a turning point, you'd imagine.
For sure.
So, fast forward a bit. BuildHr doesn't stay a solo act. It evolves.
Right, from Yogita on her own to a partnership with NJ.
Then now, it's described as a private, limited company in its teens.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Still growing, still evolving, but with more structure.
What drives that kind of structural change from one person to partners to a company?
Growth, mainly. You need different structures to handle expansion. Bringing in partners, add skills, resources. Formalizing as a company helps manage scale, operations, governance.
Makes sense.
But the source emphasizes the core purpose remains to grow. And it's guided by a bold vision and unshakable core values.
So those act as the anchor through all the changes.
Seems to be the idea. The what might evolve, but the why and how stay consistent.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for you listening. What are the main takeaways here from BuildHr's story?
Well, first off, spotting that unique need, like the retainer model, was key. It wasn't the standard path.
Right. And then the sheer importance of mentors, learning from others to really hone your approach.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate those early wins like the job descriptions. They build momentum, build belief.
And the journey itself. It's clearly not a straight line. It's about adapting, changing structure as you grow.
But always holding on to those core principles, that vision.
So maybe a question for you to think about. Looking at things you've been involved in, what were those key influences or early moments that really shaped the direction?
Yeah. Who are your mentors, formal or informal? What were those small wins that made a difference?
And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. What's the bold vision? What are the core values that are guiding your path right now, whatever that might be?
Something to mull over.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.